for doing a commendable job and looking at it with neutrality. उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ कट या recommendation नहीं बोला that we felt ये क्यों कर रहे हैं. They censored the film exactly जैसे उन्होंने war censor की थी. उनके issues अगर कुछ थे violence में या sensuality में थोड़ा था, वही था. And बोले थे अगर आपको adult certificate चाहिए then keep everything. अगर UA चाहिए तो ये काट लीजिए. So they were very correct.
आपको adult नहीं चाहिए था.
हाँ जी.
आपको adult certificate नहीं चाहिए था.
I think आप एक ह्यूज सेक्शन ऑफ ऑडियंस को काट देते हैं, उनको अलाउड ही नहीं होता पिक्चर देखने के लिए. मुझे याद है जब मैं 12 साल का था, सलाम बॉम्बे आई थी मीरा नायर की. अब मुझे अलाउड नहीं था देखने के लिए क्योंकि वो यूए था. सो आई वाज अलाउड टू सी ओनली यू फिल्म्स एंड आई रियली वांटेड टू सी सलाम बॉम्बे. आई थिंक टिल डेट आई हैव नॉट सीन इट.
ये बताइए आप फिर, क्योंकि आप इससे पहले भी कई फिल्में बना चुके हैं और सबसे बड़ी बात तो आपके बारे में ये कही जाती है कि आप ऐसे डायरेक्टर हैं जिसने आज तक फ्लॉप नहीं दी.
Fingers crossed, touch wood.
सारी की सारी हिट रही हैं और पठान ने तो सारे रिकॉर्ड ही तोड़ दिए. तो किस तरह के डायरेक्टर हैं आप? कई डायरेक्टर्स होते हैं कि कहानी देखते हैं, कई एक्टर्स देखते हैं. आप क्या सेट पे डायरेक्ट करते हुए एक्टर्स को बताते हैं कैसे करना है, खुद एक्ट करके दिखाते हैं?
ये बहुत सारे सवालों के साथ में. पहले तो मैं कैसा डायरेक्टर हूँ? आई एम अ डायरेक्टर फॉर द ऑडियंस. आई लाइक टू मेक फिल्म्स जो मैं शायद ऑडियंस में देखूँ. मेरी पूरी फैमिली इज लाइक एन ऑडियंस दैट गो टू थिएटर्स एंड वॉच एवरीवन्स फिल्म्स. एंड मैं लिखता हूँ वो सोच के कि ऑडियंस कितना कम पकेगी ये पिक्चर देखने में. तो उनको पकाओ मत ज़्यादा, उनको एंटरटेन करो, उनको एक
कैसे लिखते टाइम कैसे पता चलता है कि अब पक रहा है?
लिख पढ़ते वक्त पता चलेगा आपको कि यार यहाँ पर, बिकॉज वी लिव विद द फिल्म फॉर सो लॉन्ग. अभी अगर मैं पिक्चर शुरू करूँगा लिखने के लिए, ये 2 साल लगेंगे रिलीज होने तक. तो यू हैव टू कीप दैट मोजो अलाइव फॉर 2 years एंड देन थ्रू द प्रोसेस आपको लगता है कि यार यहाँ मैं पक रहा हूँ, यार यहाँ पर थोड़ी बोरियत हो रही है, यहाँ पर थोड़ा ड्रॉप आ रहा है. सो यू ट्राई एंड इंजेक्ट लाइफ इनटू इट एंड इट्स अ प्रोसेस ऑफ इवॉल्विंग.
मतलब ऐसी क्या डाल देते हैं कि अब लोग सीटी बजाएंगे?
एंटरटेनमेंट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो मेरी पिक्चर एंटरटेनमेंट होती हैं बेसिकली. गाने अच्छे होंगे,
तो लिखते टाइम पता चल जाता है यहाँ पे सीटी बजने वाली है.
अभी डिजाइन करना पड़ता है वो. जैसे अगर आप कपड़ा डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, आप एक चॉकलेट बना रहे हैं, तो यू नो दैट कि कहाँ पर कितना बैलेंस क्या होना चाहिए. सो फिल्म मेकिंग इज ऑल्सो दैट, इज बिजनेस एंड ऑफ द डे.
और एक्टर्स को आप एक्ट करके दिखाते हैं कि ये सीन ऐसे करना है? शाहरुख खान को, दीपिका को?
अब ये थोड़ा एक ट्रिकी है. मैं जब पिक्चर अपनी खुद लिखता हूँ तो आई हैव ऑलरेडी लिव्ड दैट सीन इन माय माइंड. और जब मैं सेट पे पहुँचता हूँ, आई एक्चुअली एंड अप enacting it in front of them and it is very funny because they tell me, अच्छा, शाहरुख actually told me that, अच्छा तूने बता दिया ऐसे करना है क्योंकि ऐसा मैं बिल्कुल नहीं करूँगा. So he's saying you showed me what not to do, but he gets the drift of what I want to do. It just happens. I mean, with Bachna scene also, with Ranbir, you know, a lot of scenes are there that remind me that he actually copied me a lot, which is very funny. Ranbir listened to me, Shahrukh didn't.
और मतलब एक्ट्रेसेस जो होती हैं, फीमेल लीड्स जो होती हैं, उनकी भी आप एक्टिंग करके दिखाते हैं?
हाँ.
कैसे?
हाँ, कभी कभी हो जाता है. अभी एक्चुअली मैं 4 दिन पहले दीपिका के साथ शूट कर रहा था फाइटर पे, एंड इट वाज एन इमोशनल सीन. और आई गॉट इनटू दैट इमोशन ऑफ हाउ शी शुड डू इट. And I didn't realize I started acting it. She burst out laughing. So I was like getting angry. It's an emotional scene. तू हंस क्यों रही है? Because she said you acted this, you don't do this. And I actually became that performer. So get carried away sometimes. You have to control.
तो और वो जो अगर आपके बताने के बाद सीन बेहतर बन के आता है एक्ट करने के बाद?
हमेशा. They don't get it, but they'll get it at some point. That डायरेक्टर ही हमेशा सुना करो.
एक सवाल जो आपसे बार बार पूछा गया कि आपने ये, आप कह रहे हैं कि आप लिखते हैं तो बीच में एंटरटेनमेंट डाल देते हैं. अभी पठान का क्लाइमैक्स सीन की बार बार बात होती है.
अच्छा, वो सलमान और शाहरुख वाला.
सलमान और शाहरुख वाला.
हाँ जी.
तो वो कैसे आपने विजुलाइज किया? पहले ही डिसाइड कर लिया था ऐसा होगा? उन्होंने कैसे माना?
वो एक्चुअली एक सीन था जो टीम डिस्कशन में एक्चुअली, जब एक छोटा सा एनेक्डोट है इसमें. जब हम सलमान को ला रहे थे पठान में और एक्शन सीक्वेंस था, जो मेरी क्लैरिटी थी कि ये एक जस्ट सिर्फ एक एक्शन सीक्वेंस नहीं होगा, इसमें मुझे ह्यूमर चाहिए. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड एक डायरेक्टर के लिए इट कैन गेट वेरी टेम्पटिंग दैट यू हैव शाहरुख एंड सलमान इन अ सीक्वेंस, एंड सलमान कमिंग विद बीइंग एन आइकॉनिक कैरेक्टर लाइक टाइगर. make it really hardcore and make it an action-oriented, high action sequence. But I wanted to break it. I wanted it to be funny. I wanted because आपको पता है ये लोग वो गुंडों को मार देंगे. You're already prepared. आज कैसे मारेंगे दिखाओ. But X factor is the humor, and I think Shah Rukh and Salman both have such great chemistry with each other. They are very good friends. They have good understanding, and they are like that off camera also. So I wanted to capture that, and I was very clear, ये funny होगा. So when he comes, you have Salman landing with a drink, and he tells me तो coffee shop पे रुका था, हाँ pharmacy पे भी, ये ले painkiller. So we wanted that kind of a tongue in cheek. So starting में we established that. So we wanted to end also with humor, that sequence. तो ये sequence जो आप देख रहे हैं जो post credit में है, वो actually उस sequence के end में था. They ended with that कि जब आते हैं ऊपर चढ़ के जब ट्रेन गिर जाती है तो थक के बैठ जाते हैं, बहुत थके हुए हैं और पीठ स्ट्रेच कर रहे हैं और बोले यार थक गए यार अब नहीं होता. So it was written for that part and to bring some humor, and it was a little bit of a struggle to find ये scene का tone क्या होगा. So then we came up with the idea that make it about them in real life, and वहाँ पर एक थोड़ा comedy आ जाएगी. So they spoke about that, but वो फिर हमने scene film से काट दिया.
अच्छा.
काट दिया. And वो film में नहीं था. It ended how that sequence is ending, and the film ended. And when we saw the film final mix के बाद, Uday Chopra came with this idea. यार we should put that scene at the end of the film. And we all realized, oh my God, why didn't we think of it? It's mind blowing. So it just became iconic after that. So credit to Uday Chopra for that suggestion.
और वो करण अर्जुन वाला रेफरेंस कैसे आया?
हाँ वो एक बहुत फनी चीज़ है, वो अर्जुन भाग को इनकॉर्पोरेट करना था. सो अगेन आइकॉनिक चीज़ें हैं. सो वी वांटेड टू प्ले टू द गैलरी फ्रंट फुटेड, एंड सो आई मेड हिम शाउट भाग पठान भाग. एंड थोड़ा शायद हैं सलमान, बट उनको पुश करके करवाया मैंने.
आप जब ये फिल्म्स देखने जाते हैं अपनी थिएटर्स में?
हर पिक्चर मैं जाता हूँ गेटी, बैंड्रा में एक थिएटर है, 12 बजे का शो होता है, एंड मैं जाता हूँ हमेशा और पूरी पिक्चर देखता हूँ. इस बार मैंने कुछ आधा ही घंटा देखा और फिर मैं निकल गया, क्योंकि इस बार एक गलती हो गई, लोग मुझे पहचानना लग गए, एंड अभी और पहचानेंगे मेरे को और तकलीफ होगी. तो आई ट्राई टू स्टे अवे. आई एम नॉट ऑन एनी सोशल मीडिया फॉर दिस रीजन. आई लाइक माई एनोनिमिटी. बट
एक्टर्स तो बुर्का पहन के चले जाते हैं.
हाँ जी,
एक्टर्स कहानी सुनाते हैं कि वो बुर्का पहन के चले जाते हैं.
हाँ अभी मुझे भी वही करना पड़ेगा लग रहा है. बट मैं आधे घंटे के बाद निकल गया. आई कुडंट सी द होल फिल्म. एंड पठान एक्चुअली द फिल्म आई देन सॉ ऑन सोशल मीडिया क्या रिएक्शंस थे. मैं देखना चाहता था लोगों को डांस करते हुए झूमे जो पठान पे, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैं गया ही नहीं देखने के लिए.
तो झूमे जो पठान का डांस भी आपने करके दिखाया था कि ऐसे करना है?
उसकी भी बहुत कहानियां हैं. वो डांस स्टेप अभी जो आइकॉनिक हो गया है, काफ़ी मेहनत लगी और हम एंड वी वर फाइंडिंग दैट स्टेप टिल वन डे बिफोर द शूट इन स्पेन. तो बहुत ड्रामे हैं इस फिल्म में, एंड इवेंचुअली आई थिंक ये किस्मत है इस पिक्चर की कि सब कुछ अलाइन होना था फॉर इट टू बिकम व्हाट इट डिड, वरना तो कुछ और ही हो रहा था.
आपकी बातों से लग रहा है कि शूटिंग के टाइम ही पिक्चर बनती है, पहले कोई तैयारी वैयारी नहीं होती क्या?
ऐसा लग रहा है क्या? नहीं, बहुत मेहनत करते हैं हम लोग, बहुत प्रेप होता है. ये इम्प्रोवाइजेशंस होती हैं. क्या होता है फिल्म मेकिंग, क्या होती है कि आपने एक पिक्चर लिख ली और अपने दिमाग में सोच लिया कि ये ऐसे बनेगी, बट व्हेन आई गेट डाउन टू शूटिंग इट there is a lot of other paraphernalia that comes into play. Weather comes into play, permissions होती हैं, एक्टर की ability होती है, स्टंट की ability होती है, सेफ्टी होती है. यार ये एक्टर पे ये कॉमेडी जच रही है नहीं जच रही है, आपने तो लिख लिया फनी है, जब एक्टर बोल रहा है it has no impact, it falls flat. You need to improvise over there and come up with something. So it is all about improvisation, yes, on the day.
तो दूसरों की फिल्म देख के लगता है कि अरे ये वाली फिल्म ऐसे बननी चाहिए थी?
I think that becomes very self-obsessive, that I'm the maker and मैं जानता हूँ पिक्चरें कैसे बनती हैं. अब अपनी पिक्चर संभाल लो, बहुत बड़ी बात है यार, अपनी लाइफ संभाल लो.
तो आप इवेंचुअली किस तरह के मेकर बनना चाहते हैं? क्योंकि आपने जिस तरह की फिल्म से स्टार्ट किया, सलाम नमस्ते वगैरह, अनजाना अनजानी, वैसी फिल्में तो अब आप नहीं बना रहे हैं. अब तो आप ये स्पाई यूनिवर्स और ये एक्शन में चले गए हैं.
मेरी नेक्स्ट फिल्म है फाइटर, विच इज़ लाइक सेट इन द इंडियन एयरफोर्स. दीपिका, ऋतिक, अनिल कपूर हैं इसमें, एंड इट्स डिफरेंट, वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम वॉर एंड पठान एंड बैंग बैंग. तो मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ टू डू डिफरेंट थिंग्स बट गिव द ऑडियंस एक थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस. अब थिएटर में जाएंगे, कुछ नया देखा, एंटरटेन हुए, गाने हैं अच्छे, ड्रामा है, विलेन है, हीरो है. आप अगर एंटरटेन होने जा रहे हो थिएटर में तो मेरी पिक्चरें आपको कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी अच्छी लगेंगी. अगर आप एडुकेट होने जा रहे हो तो मेरे पिक्चरों में मत आना, मैं कुछ सिखा नहीं पाऊंगा आपको.
चलिए, आखिरी सवाल. ये स्पाई यूनिवर्स पर बहुत बात हो रही है. ऐसा भी होगा फिल्म आएगी जिसमें सलमान खान भी होंगे टाइगर वाले, और शाहरुख खान भी होंगे, और ऋतिक रोशन भी होंगे, और जॉन अब्राहम भी होंगे.
और भी लोग होंगे, क्यों नहीं. आई थिंक स्पाई यूनिवर्स है, बहुत पॉपुलर यूनिवर्स है, बन रहा है यशराज का. एंड उनके प्लान्स हैं काफ़ी बड़े. और भी एक्टर्स हो सकते हैं स्पाई यूनिवर्स में, और फिर इवेंचुअली सब साथ में आएंगे. आई मीन होपफुली.
सबके खिलौने विलौने भी मिलेंगे, वो सब जो आजकल हो गया है.
मर्चेंडाइज.
हाँ,
क्यों नहीं, हम बिजनेस है, लेट अस आल्सो मेक सम मनी यार.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए.
थैंक यू.
सेवियर कह दें अब आपको?
बोल दीजिए.
Savior of Hindi cinema, Siddharth Anand. Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you, Kishore. And Siddharth, hopefully we will see Pathan and Tiger reuniting on screen very soon.
To see that, by the way.
I'm going to request Kishore to present a memento to Siddharth as a token of our appreciation. Incidentally, Siddharth, we also had Shilpa Rao earlier in the day, the voice of Besharam Rang. So I think it's a Pathan day here at the Rising India Summit. Thank you very much, Siddharth. Thank you, Kishore, for that fascinating session. Well, we've spoken about cinema, and when we speak about cinema, social media can't be far behind. How many of you in this room use Twitter? That's all. Okay, how many of you are on Instagram? How many of you consume YouTube every day? It can be any video. Okay, and how many of you still use Facebook? That's quite a significant number. How many of you on LinkedIn? Okay, that's actually a majority. So I think a lot of professionals in the house. Well, all of you are going to find the next session very, very interesting and fascinating, because my colleague Sonal has assembled many people who have made their fame and fortunes on some of these social media platforms. So I'm going to invite Sonal.
Show some enthusiasm, because the folks coming on stage have oodles of them, right? We're talking about Rising India, and when talking about Rising India, how can we not discuss the biggest rising trend in India today? You know, there was a time when you would ask a kid around, what do you want to become? When you grow up, they would probably say doctor, engineer, teacher. Now, if you go around asking a kid, what do you want to become? They'll probably say, I want to go viral. I want to be on the gram. I want to be on YouTube. I basically want to do stuff that gets noticed. If not that, and I'm talking to older folks like you, if I can say that. And what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Now, I would love to hear somebody say, I kiss my dog, and I do some other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, we're all on our phones all the time. In fact, statistically speaking, about 71% people end up looking at their phone in the first 10 minutes when they wake up. So facts and figures aside, think about, when was the last time you bought something looking at an advertisement? The reality of our times is that what we eat, where we go, what we wear, what we do is all getting influenced by these breed of young, enthusiastic creators who've got so much to offer. It's not just influencing in India today, is not at that phase where you cringe at, ye mera coupon code use karke discount lena, right? Influencing is at that stage where when Deepika Padukone has to launch a brand, she has to invite a bunch of influencers for a preview. We're at that stage where influencers are going mainstream. They are featuring in movies, OTT platforms, launching their own music channels. So clearly, it's time where we take them more seriously. We give them more respect for what they've been doing, but also understand from them how much of fun really goes behind creating these really funny, real content. So please, enough of me talking about and setting the context. Just give us your best applause for one of the finest creators in the country. I'm going to start by welcoming on stage Yashraj Mukherjee. do better, yeah. Next up, let's call upon Niharika NM.
Diversity and inclusion to adversity and expulsion in a snap. Work from home, work from office, work for somebody else, just like that. And this after all those employee engagement activities to keep employees happy. Forget happy, they couldn't keep employees. This happiness is not their KRA, it is nobody's KRA. It comes from within. And not from, we have 6 types of tea and 4 types of coffee, 3 types of water in our pantry. Some of the folks they laid off were so new, they didn't get a chance to taste the 6 types of tea.
Time increment season to be watching this clip all over again. Let me next invite on stage the couple who are probably after my job, I can say, very safely. Abhi and Niyu, please. Please give them a huge round of applause.
Hi, I'm Abhi and I want to give you a reason to love India. Telling stories. These are real stories that make India special.
Because India is awesome and these amazing things must reach the world.
And give you, me and everyone else 100 reasons to love India. So let's go.
All right, so that's our panel for the day. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Just a quick note, I mean, collectively, we have like what, some 30, 40 million followers watching out for this conversation. So I'm getting ready to be trolled completely for all the questions I do and do not ask. But let me start with you, Yashraj. So, Yashraj, I had a conversation with you during the pandemic when Party Ho Gayi had just started. The person I met then was this very shy boy from Aurangabad who was just trying to understand what social media had done to him. It had just happened to you, and you were wondering what to do. Oh, brands are calling, but kaise kare and all that. And yeah, and the guy I've met now backstage is cracking albums, is speaking to music directors who come to you now to say that we want Yashraj kind of music. What's happening?
It's crazy. Now that I've learned, I've been attending all these events, so I know how to have to dress up and go and talk all sense. And so that time, suddenly when the video grew up, it was so much to handle because things that I would never imagine were happening. And over the period of time, I learned how to speak and how to react to appreciation and also the negative comments on the internet. So yeah, now I'm better than what I was that time.
You're being humble and nice right now, but for me, I think, Yashraj, your journey has been one that signifies the term trendsetter, right? If we today talk about dialogues being used in music, it's because of you. So huge congratulations for what you've done, firstly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that deserves more than that, guys. Come on. Yeah? But tell me now, you're engaging, you're talking to Amit Trivedi, A.R. Rahman, they come and tap on your shoulder and say, let's vibe and let's jam on that. So how's that going?
Well, all these people I've admired all my life. Amit sir has been my most favorite music composer, and A.R. sir is like God to me. I've worshipped his work, his music all my life, and only the fact it's not even the collaboration, it's just the idea of having this access to all these wonderful people. And sometimes I just make something and I just send them for feedback. So I find that also fascinating that I can just send my stuff to them just to get a review कि ये कैसा लग रहा है, अच्छा है या ठीक है या कैसा है. So I find that very fascinating, and I feel very fortunate that the power of internet is so good that I get to have this access to all these wonderful people.
Power of internet indeed. Let me bring in Niharika on that one. So Niharika, for those of you who don't know, actually had a job at Google, which she let go of to become an influencer. I really want to know, how did this conversation go with parents?
It didn't really go well, obviously, because it was their dream and also mine to get a job at a company like Google. But it came at a time where the pandemic was over and I got the job because I have 3 degrees for no reason right now. They spent all their money on those degrees and I said, oh, so I probably won't take this job. And they were like, but why? And then I showed them the paycheck that I would get at Google versus how much I'd make if Sorry?
Tell us.
You tell me how much you make. I'll tell you.
Hardly यार, क्या मतलब? ये तो नहीं बोल सकते. Boss is sitting here.
No. Oh, see, my boss is also somewhere here. My manager is here. Yeah, I think it was just the logical and financial decision that we made to switch. But they did cut me a deal. They were like, you finish your masters, be independent, then you do whatever you want to do, because if you don't do all of this, you won't get married. So, yeah. That's a joke I always make. They really don't force me to do anything. I'm sorry.
No, but I think your story is also one that is like such an identifier with so many kids out there, right? Who are on TikTok, who are on Instagram, who are constantly trying to just let their parents understand ये चल क्या रहा है, ये होता कैसे है? Like, how will this pay? How will doing sketches, comedy on the gram, on YouTube, how will this earn you a livelihood? How do you answer that?
You really can't convince them until you start making the money. They always will be skeptical about it, with good reason, obviously. I wouldn't encourage anyone to just jump into content creation and think that they'd make money overnight. It is a long process. So I would say keep your job, keep the steady income coming. Once you know you can make more off of XYZ platforms, then you can let go of that job because you know you're making more anyway. But otherwise, I'd just say keep your jobs, please. Like, don't just jump into the internet thinking you'll make money overnight. It's not like that.
Such massive gyan we are getting from Niharika.
You asked me one gyan question. I gave you a gyan.
A lot of gyan. But talking about gyan, let me move to Ayo, Shraddha. What's up?
What's up?
Lot of fans you
क्या
have.
इधर आ गई मैं अभी CNN में what's happening क्या चल रहा है लाइफ में अभी like this month meeting prime minister meeting Bill Gates coming to CNN meeting all of you ऐसे पिक्चर में एक सॉन्ग सीक्वेंस नहीं होता जहाँ पे हीरो हीरोइन कितने रद्दी मिडिल क्लास क्यों ना हो लेकिन गाने में ऐसे डांस करते रहते कहाँ लोकेशन चेंज करके करके ड्रेस बदल के ये मेरे लाइफ का गाना चल रहा है अभी. This is song sequence. When I'm meeting all cool people, being in all cool places, amazing.
Amazing, very song. We'll let Yashraj decide on what song and what mix will really fit your life.
I'll tell you, my content creation has not peaked until I say something rhythmic enough for Yashraj Mukherjee to sing, iska kuch kar sakte hain. Until that happens, I will continue making content. The day Yashraj Mukherjee picks something, done, ho gaya mera.
Yashraj, no pressure, huh? No pressure.
आज कल बना ले, मेरा job बच जाएगा.
But Shraddha, you spoke about meeting the Prime Minister. Yeah. We all saw him do Ayo.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, what did it feel like? How was that moment?
Yeah, see, I'll tell you, before I enter that room, I was thinking, how do you greet the Prime Minister of your country? Should I say Namaskara, because South Indian? Should I say Namaste? Should I say Namaskar? So मेरे दिमाग में ये तीन चल रहा है Namaste, Namaskar, Namaskara, Namaste, Namaskar, Namaskara. And I meet him and he says, Ayo. And I said, sir, wait. Abhi, I have not decided what to tell you yet. What? सब भूल गए अभी मैं. क्या? So it was like that. Yeah, it completely disarms you with his charm.
But you're such a lovable, endearing, full of life person. It's hard to not like you. But when I was decoding your story and we were doing, sort of research for this panel, I found that your, brand of what you do is so interesting. It's educational mixed with entertainment, which is a deadly combination.
I know, but I'll tell you, I will not take much credit for this. What I do is, after Niharika, Kusha, Dolly, Srishti, everyone has done content, I look at क्या बचा क्या है अभी मेरे लिए. अच्छा अभी ये मैं कर लेती हूँ. Because they are so fast, they're so prolific, they're so good. Well, half the time I'm only watching them and thinking, okay, मुझको भी कुछ करना चाहिए. And then I feel, okay, what is left over?
Being very humble.
No,
sorry,
really. And so that's why I have found this one little thing where I say, okay, before they can make something, मैं कुछ बना लेती हूँ इधर अपना. So it's like that, forced into this.
Like I said, information, we are in an age where there is such an overload of information all around us. But how do you still pick up topics? I want to understand, how do you pick your theme? How do you say that, okay, this is something I'm going to get after?
I think more than theme, I keep my audience in my mind, which is mostly 8-year-olds. बच्चे ही हैं मेरे audience, and then बच्चे force their parents to play my videos. So फिर parents भी धीरे-धीरे ऐसा, like how we watch Augie the Cockroach, because children watch, तो मैं Augie हूँ. So then I look at, okay, if kids are going to enjoy this, and if it's simple enough for them to understand, and even if they don't fully understand, कहीं अगर एक बच्चा हंस देगा कहीं बीच में, So I think, yeah, okay, not bad. So like that. So I think I try to keep things simple enough, but maybe the subject is not very simple, but can it be said simply? तो थोड़ा मजा भी है सबको.
I think that's the best way to engage with Gen Z also in some way, right? Because they're so getting used to consuming content in the entertainment format.
Actually,
it's the best way to feed them.
Most Gen Z, when they meet me, they say, my mother is a very big fan of you. My grandmother is a very big fan. My children are a very big fan of you. इसलिए मैं आपका वीडियो बर्दाश्त कर रहा हूँ. Because
Okay, talking about gyan, talking about information. Abhi and you, I'm damn serious when I say that you guys are literally after our jobs, right? So Abhi and you, for all of you who don't know, started out on taking a sabbatical. They just took a sabbatical from work and decided to travel around India and give you 100 stories to fall in love with India. What a beautiful thought, no? And from there, they've gone to making content which is hard-hitting, which is making people think, which is making people stop and say, hang on, is this the right policy for me? Which is making even politicians, if I'm allowed to say so, take note of what exactly is happening. So, Abhi and you, well done.
Thank you.
I will say that now. Okay.
Thank you.
Well done. But tell me, how is the journey moving forward for you guys? This is, so I love this brand, like this collaboration that we have on stage right now, from music to entertainment to information to some hard-hitting news content, right? Is that where you see yourself going? And is that an area where we can see more and more influencers come up?
So, actually, I feel that our content has not changed since the caveman. We are still telling stories. It's just that the format is changing. Yashraj is telling stories through music. Niharika and Ayushratha are telling stories through satire or through comedy. And we are telling stories through our experiences. So based on circumstances, we wanted to travel. But then after COVID, we had only two options. Either we could just stop making videos, or we could make videos with what we have. So that's something that's not going to change. We will keep adapting to newer environments, newer challenges, and we'll keep adapting to them. But then the core concept is that we want to tell stories that we ourselves resonate with. So I have this theory that, as Shraddha said, that her main audience is 8-year-olds. We consider that our audience is the audience of one. So we make videos for ourselves. It's just that we feel that if we tell a story that is so personal that it appeals to me, then I feel I'm not special. And there will be many people who will resonate with the same story. So that's what we focus on. We try to tell stories which we feel that other people are not sharing. And we find that gap and we try to share it in our language. That's all.
It sounds so simple to do, no? But New, I want to understand from you, has there been any joy left in traveling because of this constant pressure to make content? And you must specify, especially for this audience who think कि आजकल की generation घूमते फिरते वीडियो बनाते हैं, इनका बस यही काम है और कोई मतलब काम धंधा नहीं है ऐसे.
So when we traveled earlier for 100 Reasons to Love India, that was pretty much like an extended business travel, because I was still freelancing as a content writer because we didn't have monetization. So I was working, so then every time we were traveling somewhere, we both have, like I've written articles and he's edited videos or scripted them. We've done it in buses. And, we've taken state transport buses everywhere.
Once again, it was literally New just telling me that you go tell stories, ja Simran ja jile apni zindagi.
Yeah, kind of.
And you don't have to worry about money for the next 8 months. I'll fund you. I'll fund your this thing. And she took the entire responsibility. So because we were always under pressure,
so
because we were not making any money.
It was work everywhere. If we would reach, like, for example, we had an event once, we gave a TEDx talk at Mangaluru, and then we went to the hotel, and then we were scripting the video, and the next day we were traveling to shoot the next video, and then coming back and editing, and then I would get calls from my clients saying ki are articles kidhar hai tere, so I'm like, oh my god, okay, I have to work now. So that's how it was.
Yeah, just to give you a perspective, generally if news channels were to do it, we would need like 50-60 people team, like a script writing team, a researcher, production assistant, camera, etc. these are folks who are just doing it out of pure joy, passion, and just following it, trying to tell a story, like Abhi also said. But is it true that you guys were working on your honeymoon? That's how the whole brand came together?
No, so Abhi started making videos in 2017. He used to edit and make videos for his clients. And then he felt, I'm bringing my client's vision on screen, but somewhere I'm not able to tell stories the way I like it. And I'll let Abhi tell you the story of how he started.
No, so majorly, let me tell you about the honeymoon because you asked that question. So New had this idea that, okay, we are going on a honeymoon, but then I don't want to pay for the honeymoon, so I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it to 200 people, and somebody will say, okay, you come over here, make videos for us, and we'll sponsor you.
Look, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So I said, let me ask. And
so
almost everybody
sent
said
200,
no.
300 cold emails, and out of them, one person replied saying that, okay, I'm going to link you to somebody who handles this. And coincidentally, they had just shot a movie in the same place and they were interested in getting Indian audiences. So we got in touch with them and it worked out. So then we didn't get paid for it, but then whatever was enough, like whatever we were getting some freebies here and there was enough.
Part of the honeymoon.
Wow, Simran, wow has happened now. Huh? This is some way to spend your honeymoon, I must say. But Niharika, you know, when I look at content from Shraddha, I look at content from Abhi and New, they all seem to be coming from a place of purpose. I'm sure you're thinking, yaar, mujhe to entertainment karna hai. Like, you know, where is, so what is the end game, if I can understand from you? I see a lot of influencers get into mainstream, do movies, do OTT, etc. Would it be fair to say that we are in this time where, you know, social media has become India's Got Talent? Social media is the place where talent will be identified. And if you've got your audience with you, like they say, industry to jhak maar ke aayegi.
Yeah, maybe. I think now we all just have a platform and we don't need somebody to give us a platform. We can make our own. I think it's all fair game now. And I think with the mainstream comment that you made, I just think there's a bridge now where mainstream is trickling down into social media. Social media is like trickling down. It's all a cute little happy family, or that's what it looks like from the outside. I don't know, I'm not in it yet. As far as what I do is concerned, I just make observational comedy. I did so much academic stuff that I don't want to do anything that requires me to do research. My life has been sucked out because of engineering. I did computer science. For what joy? I still have no idea.
You were a school topper, college topper?
Unfortunately, yes. So it was an interesting time. I really wanted the corporate life, if I'm being honest. I really just wanted a stable 9-to-5 job. I can go home, watch my movies, go to bed. This whole social media thing is also very unstable. Today it's you, tomorrow it's someone else. So it's a very anxious job also, where you're trying really hard to stay at the top, be relevant, X, Y, Z. But truly, I take a very personal approach to it. I just have fun with it because I make videos for me and my family, and if other people are enjoying it, great. I enjoy what I do, and I'm glad my hobby and my passion became my job now.
Okay, great. So last comments really, and Yashraj, I want you to talk about it because, you know, she mentioned pressure a little bit. You know, the one thing that I hear from influencers who've made it, who've cracked it really, is that pehle na fun ke liye content banate the, now it's pressure. There are brands, there are timelines, and there is this pressure that, boss, my last video was 10 million. If this doesn't hit that, then what do I do? So that stress is real, right?
That is real, and every creator I've spoken to, they go through it. Also, but there is other side to it, because after a point, when you have your own community of audience, the numbers don't matter that much. So the numbers are only to get the brands and get the make the profile look better in terms of numbers. But after a point, when you have, like, if you I speak to other creators who have been there for more than 6-7 years. They tell me that after a point, it won't matter how many views you get or how many likes you get. It is only the community, that people who really love to watch your content, and that is all that matters. So right now I'm in that state. The people who will always be there with me. Yeah.
I have to ask you guys this question because this is something that gets talked about in Gen Z circles quite a bit. And that is that you guys, this generation, brand, breed of content creators who are out there, and Abhinyu and Shraddha, please address this as well. You guys have such massive followings. Do you often, Shraddha, think about the responsibility that comes with it? Do you sometimes think about, this is too much love, or this is too much support? Am I doing the right thing with it?
Right. So I think the most important thing is to preserve your mind. Because all this following, all this adulation, or getting carried away, or to feel one pressure कि हाँ इतना प्यार है, सब लोग wait कर रहे हैं मेरे अगले वीडियो के लिए. इस खुशवे में मत रहो, because nobody is waiting really, and you might get the impression that इतने followers हैं, तो everybody is like कब आएगा श्रद्धा का video? Nobody is waiting. What they would appreciate is when you do put out a video, they're like, this is why we love you. वो वाला feeling अगर दे सको, I think all of us need to. And more importantly, कितना बड़ा है market? Market बहुत बड़ा है. We need not compete with one another at all. How many news channels are there? कभी सुना है कोई news channel बंद हो गया? In so many languages, in so many. So yeah, market is huge. So I tell myself that you don't get so, because ऐसा audience तरस नहीं रहा है तुम्हारे content के लिए. आराम से बना, आराम से.
All right, I'm being told that we got to wrap. There's so much really more to discuss. But Yashraj, one song you have to give, yeah, on Shraddha's request. Defining the life of an influencer. If you had to do one, which one would that be?
Yeah, I think some of her content only I'll take and I'll make a track.
So you have to give us
That's
a sneak peek
Yashraj
now.
telling कि अभी retire हो जा तू.
Yashraj is like, बहुत हो गया अभी इसका.
बहुत हो गया अभी इसका.
I've had enough. Now I'm going to give her her wish.
All right, on that note, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your stories. Kudos to everything that you guys are doing. Keep at it, yeah?
Thank you, Sonal, for that fascinating session. You know, I was just joking the other day that these days, hopefully soon. Okay, we had one blockbuster director earlier in the evening. Well, it's time to bring you another blockbuster director, someone who delivered a very big hit last year. Now, the film industry is a good place to gauge how money moves, people spend, or lifestyles have changed. In 1991, the best-selling film made barely 7 crore rupees. Today, most successful films rake in anywhere between 300 to 500 crore rupees. In fact, the successful movies of any era are mostly the ones that people can relate to instantly. Not necessarily because of the state-of-art technology or production or hype created by modern marketing razzmatazz, but almost always because the stories have a current bearing. To tell us all about it, please welcome on stage filmmaker Ayan Mukherjee in conversation with Anand Narasimhan for a session on Bollywood Ka Maha Astra. A huge round of applause for the director of Brahmastra, Ayan Mukherjee. Can we hear it from all of you?
Thank you, Anand. I'm very excited with this.
Well, you've given me something very significant, that you need to be anchored. So I'll keep the anchor. And I've given you something significant, saying what's in your heart, be proud to wear it on your sleeve too.
Absolutely.
That's our tricolor, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? So let's start from there. What drives you, Ayan? Because 3 films, 2009, but you've assisted before that, 2004, 2005. You worked with some of the top talent directors in the world, in India. But I want to understand from you, why the gap, one, and the process. Let's start from there.
No, so you asked me 3 questions very quickly. What drives me? I think, you know, when you start off in life wanting to be a filmmaker, become a filmmaker, you just love movies and you don't even know, you want to be a part of it and you want to touch people with your movies and you don't really know what you're trying to say. You've not thought about anything. As we all get deeper with our profession, you know, understand it more and more, I think what drives me has changed over the years. You know, excellence in cinema, growth for myself, trying to touch themes that are challenging, that will move people. I think it's that pursuit of excellence that drives me.
What is this thing with Ranbir Kapoor and Ayan Mukherjee? Wake Up Sid, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, and Brahmastra.
It happened very organically, Anand, honestly. You know, the films, we all have our own sort of like the creative journey has its own little thing that happens, magic that happens. Initially in my career, I was writing about characters that were very close in age to me and were going through experiences that young people around the same age as me were going through. Ranveer was a natural fit. We became friends. He's a great actor. In the younger generation, certainly one of the leading people. So it just happened that way.
And Wake Up Sid, like you said, was what you were going through. Irreverent, rebellious, want to do something and not so clear about what you want to do in life, but still full of energy and verve. And Ye Jawani Hai Diwani also, 4 years later, had a little bit of that, but there was a little bit of a maturity. But then comes a huge gap. So what happened in that time?
So, I don't know how, have some of you seen Brahmastra here? Some of you have seen it. Okay,
Lot
but
of them have
everybody
seen it. Lot
knows
of them
about
have
the
seen it.
film. So, Anand, Brahmastra was a very different kind of film. It was a big leap for me because it was a very original concept. In some way, to be very honest, now that it's been a few months since the film has come out, I feel like we only touched the tip of the iceberg of this concept in Brahmastra 1. And some people, especially young people, have picked up on it that from Brahmastra 1, I actually want to create a universe of cinema which fits underneath the word Astraverse. And what it really is stories very deeply inspired from Indian history, old Indian stories, bringing some of that ancient Indian spirituality into the modern world. And this combination, I want to actually keep exploring and telling different stories, using it in the way in which like Marvel Studios has so many films that come under it. But the work I was doing wasn't based on an existing piece of literature, the way that, you know, Spider-Man is based on Spider-Man comics that have existed for so many years. It was a jump into the unknown. So to create the concept and to put this kind of film together that looked the way it did, it needed a lot of time because it hadn't been done before. And I like to believe that what we created with Brahmastra was not just that film, but was the foundation for a universe of cinema. So now as we go ahead, I'm hoping we can move a lot faster.
Did people ask you within your friend circle, family, "Ye kya kar raha hai? Why are you doing this?"
Constantly. You always get that. You know, and I guess we work in film. It's very public, the way you're working, your process. People know ki film ban rahi hai, actors have filmed, they know the actors. I get that all the time. You know, I got that all the time. But if I'm being honest, I knew what I was up to. I had examples of stalwarts like James Cameron who've given 12 years and then created Avatar. So I felt ki yaar kuch bada karna hai life mein, then you have to give it your all. Otherwise, how are you going to do it? You know, otherwise it'll be run-of-the-mill stuff.
So this Astraverse is a very unique concept, and you said it drives inspiration or draws inspiration from the Marvel universe or the DC universe. So and you create characters, and each character then can become a 70 film or a concept.
Well, to be honest, in the Astraverse, no, it took me a while to